Welcome. This is Professor Gerda Pujol from the University of Central Florida, and welcome to the Legal and Ethical Environment of Business. Today I want to just jump into intellectual property law, beginning with copyright law and copyrights. But before I do, let me take a step back and talk about property and property rights and how intellectual property law fits into this bigger picture. If you think about it, you can't have a functioning modern economy, exchange economy, free market without property rights. And one of the great things about the English common law, as it was inherited in our tradition, USA tradition, is that the common law recognizes property rights in different types of ideas and expression of ideas. And that's what we're going to be looking at in the next few videos. Now, when you think of property rights, you may think of, for example, a house or a car, right? Something that you own. And the thing about property is that lawyers think of property in terms of a bundle of rights. You can break property rights down into, for example, the right to use the property you own. You can also break it down into the right of transfer. You can transfer your property rights to someone else. And also you can earn a right of return. You can profit from the things that you own. Now this is a broad picture of property rights. What the common law does, or what the common law did, is extend these property rights to ideas, to intangibles. Now again, this is a simplification, it's a big picture, but I want to begin with that big picture before we jump in. Now, one more comment. In our United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, and you can see it right here, Congress is given the power to promote the progress of the sciences by securing for authors, to authors for limited times, the exclusive right to their writings and discoveries. And copyright really applies to discoveries. And the idea of a copyright is that when you write something down or create something that's original, you, at the moment in which you wrote something down or created something, you own the property rights to that something. Now, I should say, you don't own the rights to the idea itself that you've expressed. What you do own, though, is the expression of that idea that you've just written down or somehow expressed. In order to own a copyright, as long as you express your idea in some tangible medium of some fixed and tangible medium of expression, I'll now borrow from the copyright law, you own the copyright to that expression of the idea. And at common law, the moment you express that idea, the moment you write something down, you are the owner of that idea. So for example, or I should say of the expression of that idea. Again, the Facebook homepage from 2004 is a great example of this. The moment that homepage went up, Zuckerberg designed it. He, and presumably his business partner, Eduardo Saverin, owned the intellectual property rights, the copyright to the look of that website. Now, there is a federal copyright law, and the main point I want to get across is that to own a copyright to something that you've expressed, you don't have to do a formal registration process. The moment that you express something, and again, in a tangible medium, fixed and tangible medium of expression, you own the copyright to that. Now, federal law, the Copyright Act of 1976, as it's been amended over the years, does give you the option of a federal registration of your copyright, of the idea that you're expressing. So here, what I want to do is just go over what might be the advantages of a formal federal registration, of going to the trouble of registering your copyright, filling out the form, paying the fee, and formally registering your copyright with the United States Copyright Office. The main advantage of registration is that registration is prima facie proof that you are the owner of the copyright, and you are the owner of the copyright definitively as of the date of registration. In addition, owners of federally registered copyrights also have the right to go into a federal court to enforce their copyrights and ask the court to provide a remedy known as an injunction. And I should say right here in this introductory video that an injunction is a very powerful judicial remedy. It is when the court orders someone or some company to refrain from infringing on your copyright in the copyright context. And so what the what registration does, federal registration does, is it gives you the ability to go into any federal court in the United States and request an injunction if your copyrights are being infringed. Now, if you don't have federal registration, you still own the copyright to your work. However, you'd have to go to a state court, and state remedies might be different from federal remedies. Now, the other major advantage of federal registration is that the copyright law provides a schedule of what's known as statutory damages. What that means is, if your copyrights have been infringed by some other party, in that case, the copyright law will set forth the amount of damages that you're automatically entitled to. In other words, you won't have to prove what your economic damages are. Now, if your economic damages are greater than what's provided for in the statute, you can go ahead and try to prove those greater economic damages. But one of the huge advantages of federal registration is that you can go to federal court, request an injunction, and also you can be entitled to automatic monetary damages for each copyright infringement, each act of copyright infringement. So that is a overview of copyright law. And before I sign off, I'd like to return to that initial question I posed in my overview video, the previous video. And that is, have you created intellectual property rights ever in your life? And if you think about it carefully, you'll realize that the answer is 100% yes. If you've ever taken a selfie, for example, on your phone, you automatically own the copyright to the photograph that you've taken on the phone. If you've written an essay, a discussion post in this course, that essay, that writing is yours. The only requirement that the copyright law imposes, both at common law and in the federal statute, is that your work be original, not just a mere copy of somebody else's work. And that original work, whether it's a writing, a musical composition, a movie script, a novel, a comic strip, whatever it is, as long as that work can be expressed in a fixed and tangible medium of expression, then it is copyrightable. So thank you for your attention. In our next lecture, we'll take a look at copyright infringement and the fair use exception to infringement. Thank you for your attention. Have a great day and go Knights.